Hello everybody. I'm trying to record this in the student view so it'll look more familiar to you, but I wanted to alert you to a couple things. One thing, I do announcements sometimes and you should be getting those, and so I just want you to be aware that they're there. Then let's look back at our modules. I added something. This is kind of an intro to chapter 2. So you'll notice our resources are still here, and I talked about Professor Messer being here. So then when we look at chapter 1, I wanted to make it clear to you that you guys did a great job. You know how now to do an email. You know how to, the fact that I put the PowerPoints in, I'm only going to do that for 2 weeks because by then I expect you'll have a book. But that's that. We did pretty well on our quizzes. We did great on our discussion board. And then I have here a weekly summary of how you did on the quiz and what the right answers were and things like that. Let's go to chapter 2 though. That's what I'm interested in now. So we're going to be moving on. We'll be finishing finishing chapter 1 and 2, knowing that you have some limitations right now regarding textbooks. I included a video here. It's kind of long, but it's one of my favorites because it really explains where the internet was and how it took time to actually come to a conclusion about Ethernet and things like that, and how we were actually going to implement it, because it was being used in many, many, many different ways, and the whole purpose was to standardize. Okay, now here, chapter 2, this is again the PowerPoint. I said I'd do that, only 2 weeks. DB2, posted, ready for you. And then something called NetLabs. NetLabs is going to be, and it's interesting that I'm going to do 2 of these, but I think you'll have time to do it and it'll give you some practice. Now I will say that I did make some mistakes I did a great video for Sierra, but then I screwed up trying to get it uploaded. And the reason I have to put it currently into YouTube is because I need it to be closed captioned. I'm working on using some different content, so I'm excited about that. But NetLab, it's going to be very well explained in here, so I'm introducing it now. These instructions, this is a written form of when you listen to this. This is the introduction to NetLabs. This is actually, I did another one. This was the one I did probably at 2 or 3 in the morning. It didn't come out the way I really wanted it to. I was having issues getting it uploaded, but they both have value. This one talks more about Lab 1, which is Wireshark, and this one talks more about Lab 2. I got cut off on this one, but I still think it had value because one mistake, well, not one mistake, but this came from originally from a class I did at a different college, but it's not an issue with that. Most of it looks exactly like Sierra, but I just, I'm acknowledging that. And then this one is Sierra directly. I'll make sure in the future to make sure it always says Sierra because that's important to me. Okay, I wanted to get everything posted this morning, so I'm doing everything I can. Now we're going to implement, after you watch these and look at this, you're going to be able to do NetLab 2 and NetLab 1. Now, when you do these, basically, I'm going to show you something, and wow, look at all that. It looks different on your side. Okay. Basically, let's say Lab 2. Okay, that's what we're looking at right now. When you go into the lab, you're going to complete the lab. During the lab, and I spoke of this in the second lecture that I did for Sierra, the fact that there are mapped questions. So if there are questions within the lab when you're doing it, write down the number next to it and answer the questions as you go along. Then the next step you need to do, and you're going to create a document to do this in, the second thing you need to do, well, when you get ready to, when you complete the lab, then you will first thing do a confirmation statement. I have completed Lab 2. It is ready for review. This allows me to confirm that you did. I can see in there if you were in. So this is my way of calling you out. If you're in there for 15 seconds and I know that you weren't even there, and I read your thing and I know for a fact you weren't even there, then this is my confirmation. Then after you do the confirmation, put in your mapped questions, and then there's one last set of questions. These aren't meant to be difficult. They're meant to reflect on the data that you just learned and implemented. So these, you'll get very used to the pattern. So basically you always have mapped, well, you do the confirmation, do your mapped questions and your completion questions. Do them all in one document, and it'll make it a lot easier, because then when I grade them, I can submit straight onto your document. My comments, much easier than trying to put them in a little box. So once you've done that, submit your, and you can see right here, submit your assignment, and you only get one try. So make sure you reread the questions before you do this. And I think the next one's the OSI, I think. Yes, okay. This one talks about mapped questions and goes more into detail about it. But, you know, there's sections like 2.3, and you'll see these in there. But these are mapped questions, and please indicate. What I mean by that is, don't put all the answers as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is impossible for me to have to understand. So if you just map them with like 2.3, the answer is this, or you can even put the question in. But make it simpler than if you can, because I have to read 30 of these, and so I would appreciate it. And you'll get a better response from the thing. Same thing here. You're going to do the confirmation statement, then you're going to answer your questions to the lab, the mapped ones, and then you'll do the completion questions, which are the same, and they're important. Okay, once you okay, so, and basically that, oh wait, let me just do this. That's the primary thing. I have a lot of videos in there for you. Oh, the last part, and I'll show you in modules like this, is that, see, here's chapter 2, week 2, okay? We're doing, this is going to be long. It's a long video, but it's worth it. And you saw where I put some constraints on it for you. It's okay. Then we're introducing the net labs. We're doing some videos on the net labs so that you'll have really comfort in there. And then in NetLab 2 and NetLab 1, actually doing the labs. And then I added some optional videos, just if you're having difficulties with learning styles and things like that. I've got 2 more videos that you might want to watch just for convenience. Otherwise, I hope you have a great week, and I will send out an email. Well, yeah, I'll send out, okay, the code, well, yeah, I'll send out an email. Okay, have a good night. It's I shouldn't do this at 5:55 in the morning because I already graded everything, so you're up to date. Everything's up to date, everything's good, but I'm going to bed soon. All right, I wish you all well. Take care. And stop the record.